So usually how I work, I kind of shifted my art into this more sketchy kind of like style. Because before I never used to kind of make like draw this style with this style, just a bit more sketchy, laid back. It has a lot of details. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more laid back. If that makes sense. We can go check out my Instagram real quick. For example, this is more of a refined kind of way I used to draw, which is more detailed. Took a lot of time. There's a lot of weight difference. Kind of looks a lot more cleaner, a lot more sharper than the way I'm working right now. You can see the same example here, or the best example, which is this one. It's kind of how I used to draw, but the downside with this style, which is that it takes a long time to do these kind of illustrations, and that kind of really hard to adapt into making comics. So the way I wanted to kind of draw at this moment, and which is to loosen up my artwork and make it a lot more not affordable. What am I saying? Like make it more efficient and take less time. That is exactly the way I'm working at this moment. Right now, I'm working on this comic, which is kind of a shorter one shot, which I'm trying to make a lot of at this moment since I have a lot more time. And these kind of one shots are kind of a way for me to practice a lot more making comics. So if we step back and look how I kind of work at this moment, it's a lot more loosened up. There is definitely a lot more details, but it's more loosened. It's a lot more sketch-like, you can say. But I think this way is a lot more optimal. I don't know. It's kind of a way for me to keep a lot more of those details that I usually do in my artwork, but with also kind of keeping in mind that I have to not spend a lot of time in doing in one illustration. So currently, I'm working on this comic, and it's kind of a small one shot. The premise of the story, I'm gonna kind of make it a little brief for you guys. It follows this group, and they're kind of wanting to travel from one city to another city. But in this world, it's kind of it's a lot dangerous to travel from city to another city because of the wilderness that is between the two big cities. And basically, to be able to travel from one city to another one, you kind of have to assemble a group or kind of be more optimal so you can protect yourself and kind of ensure your survival during your travel, basically. And so basically, our group is traveling from Fes to Rabat, which are two big Moroccan cities. And the way it kind of works is that these big cities are protected by big walls, kind of the same concept as Attack on Titan, which means the kind of wilderness is very dangerous to travel from one city to another. And so they kind of have to assemble a group so they ensure their survival and be able to travel. So right here we're following our group, which is kind of a funny group. We have, let me show you guys real quick. We have this character, which is Tariq, and the two other characters. We have Khadija, which is the archer of the group, and Olaf. He's like a healer, but more of a quiet one because he's not from Morocco, so he doesn't speak Moroccan, like Darija language. So he kind of always stays quiet with the group. He doesn't speak much. And we have Tariq. He's the big guy. He's the warrior. He's kind of wielding this big, giant hammer, which he never uses for personal reasons. And you have this child that kind of followed them in their journey somehow. And he ended up with them with the group. So as you can see, the group kind of found itself in a very sticky situation with a group of thieves, and kind of ended up in a funny way, which the hammer accidentally fell off on top of of themselves and kind of knocked themselves off. And because our main character kind of always wants to, the way I wrote it, which is that main character Tarek, he kind of always tries to get away of situations which are like, for example, thieves or uncomfortable situations without fighting because of some very personal and deep um, issues that he had when he was a child. I don't want to get into a lot of details. I really want you guys, if anyone checks out this video, I want you guys to wait so I can I want you guys to check out and read it for yourself to kind of give me your feedback. Because if I explain to you the story and the behind the scenes behind the character, kind of going to spoil the whole story. So it will be more optimal if I don't share a lot of information about the characters and everything in their background. And that is the main premise of the story, actually. And yeah, I thought I would just record this video and kind of share with you my steps and the way that I kind of make these pages. I think my artwork, in terms of my last comic that I made, which I showed in my last video. If you didn't check it out, go check it out on my page. Like my artwork kind of changed a lot. Matter of fact, it's a lot more sketchier. Like I said before starting this video, a lot more sketchier. It's a lot more looser. There is detail, but it's a lot looser. And personally, I kind of like this style. I don't know. It's out of my comfort zone. It's very much out of my comfort zone because I usually like to make things very clean and very pretty and fancy and everything. I'm not saying this is not pretty. It's okay. It's pretty decent, but in terms of clean artwork, that is kind of used to be my thing. Well, now working with sketchier lines and kind of this quicker way of making comics, it's interesting to see the results because they kind of turn out not that bad. And like I said in my last video, I used to have this issue of my line art kind of being a bit inconsistent, and my artwork in general kind of being this a bit of like it changes for me drawing comics and drawing manga, and I used to struggle with that a lot. And I think this could be like a breaking point for that and kind of fixing that issue that I used to have. Maybe it could be, and maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe with a lot of practice, I think this could potentially help me with my issue. And also, not to say I have to improve on writing and all of that stuff because and it definitely needs a lot of practice. So yeah, I just finished this panel. So I have one more. We have these two characters. These are the thieves, and they got themselves knocked because of their stupid mistake of touching Tariq's hammer. At the end of the day, they ended up falling into them and crushing them. Honestly, I didn't put that much time thinking about like the whole design of the characters and all of that stuff. Maybe I should have done that. It's a kind of I just wanted to put myself into that situation of me making comics rather than kind of ended up spending a lot of time planning and everything. It's kind of a different route, and I think this is the right way. This could be the right way. I don't know if you make comics and you have experience with making comics or generally have an idea, please put it in the comments because I definitely want to read your comments and tell me what you guys think. It's important if you have these two characters that kind of crush themselves. Now, this guy is kind of messed up. Look at his face, he's all messed up. I don't know, I was just drawing this page and I thought I would just roll up the camera and just make this quick video, and just talk about how my process in making this comic, in general, how I make comics. It's usually like how I start. Usually, I'm gonna kind of talk about this real quick. Is that I kind of always have this mini sketch of the page. Like in general, I kind of on a blank page, I usually have these kind of small panels, and these panels I kind of plan out how the comic page going to be, and just try and experiments with different things and see how I can improve those things and kind of manage how I'm going to draw the final page, and where the text bubbles are going to be, what camera angle that I want to draw my character in, and kind of experiment with these things as much as I can, and then eventually I would just copy this thing. That makes sense, and kind of scale it up in the form of the actual page. I usually work on B6 pages, and yeah, for example, we have B6, and I would scale it up to B6, and I would just start to actually make a more refined sketch of the page. And that is exactly how I usually manage my pages and kind of work my way up into line art. And for this one, I didn't. For this page, I didn't do it. And usually, I like sometimes I don't do it because I already have like a general idea of how the page is going to be. But if I'm like not sure how the page I want it to end up being like, I would take that step and try to experiment with different panels and finding something that I can eventually work with. So yeah. So as you can see here, kind of almost done with the page. Just gonna sketch. We're kind of sketching these things out. No. First of all, we're gonna print this thing in black. That's how the character is. Has this big black silhouette. Have to map out his jawline, his ear. Kind of give him some lighter shadows, and also try to identify some details in the blacks. Kind of show that it's a piece of fabric and it's not just a solid black. I usually like to do these kind of details. I know it's kind of a personal thing, but I feel like it does add up an interesting effect. There we go. That's it. Anyways, I thought I would just make this video and kind of talk about these kind of small details that I mentioned. And I don't know, maybe this could be helpful for someone. Thank you for watching.